The planet is quiet tonight. Dark oceans stretch like ink. And through the soft whir of the atmosphere, this world remains what it always was, a slow archive, recording time not in words, but in stone. Pyramids appear again and again on this planet. And no matter how softly one says this, the shape is not rare. It returns on different continents, across different regions, built by different cultures, some separated by oceans, some divided by thousands of years. In North Africa, those shapes rise above flat, light sand. In Central America, they appear beneath dense green jungles. In parts of East Asia, they rest under the weight of eroded mountains, softened by soil and vegetation. And further south, in island Southeast Asia, small stepped structures seem to echo the same ancient geometry, a geometry that predates modern writing. This is not one story, this is not one people, but geography reveals something else. Human civilizations tend to bloom where rivers bend, where coastlines offer fish, where seasons can be predicted. And in those places, the same question quietly emerges. When humans imagine permanence, why do they so often imagine a shape that narrows to a point? Pyramids are stable. Their center of gravity is low. They endure earthquakes better than vertical walls. They shed water. They channel force downward. But structural logic is only one part. The pyramid also draws the gaze upward. Even in sleep documentaries, in gentle cinema like this, the subject is not the ending. The subject is the stillness of the question. What makes the pyramid a global instinct? Maybe it was practical, or maybe it was symbolic, or maybe it was simply inevitable. Stone, under gravity, wants to rest in triangles. And sometimes the world shapes itself into forms that look intentional, long before humans carve any block. In some deserts, wind cuts the landscape into sharp triangular ridges. In some volcanic islands, cones of basalt rise like artificial monuments. In some coastal cliffs, layers of sediment fracture in steps. So the world itself is capable of making shapes that resemble human architecture. This complicates everything. Because if nature sometimes builds pyramids, and humans sometimes build pyramids, then the question becomes quieter, heavier, and more geological. Where does intention begin? Archaeology is slow, but the Earth does not fear slow questions. On a coastal plateau in northern Africa, a group of field researchers once found a set of stones arranged in perfect alignment with the setting sun. Across the ocean in Central America, there are stepped temples built without metal tools, constructed with a confidence that seems too early for their timeline. A quiet pattern appears in the data. Humans built upward long before steel, long before mathematics had names, long before history even remembers their names. Sometimes the most enduring human artifact is simply weight, and weight prefers triangles. Centuries pass, civilizations rise, collapse, and dissolve into dust. Rivers shift, sea levels move, coastlines migrate. And every time the Earth redraws itself, more pyramids get lost beneath layers of soil, under new cities, or deep underwater. In Southeast Asia, near shorelines that were once far inland, divers have documented megalithic structures that appear stepped, not natural and not chaotic. No one claims them with certainty. No single culture can say they built them. They simply exist as silent evidence that human hands were shaping stone long before the timelines comfortably align. In Central America, the geometry becomes almost repetitive. Stepped pyramids rise over ceremonial platforms. Symmetry appears again. The angle of incline echoes ratios seen thousands of kilometers away. Is this diffusion of knowledge or a parallel invention? The scientific community tends to lean toward the second. Independent invention is logical. When humans try to stack heavy material high, they end up with a pyramid. It's the stable answer gravity approves. But then there is a third possibility, not mystical, not pseudo-historical, just a problem of perspective. We assume we are on the tail end of history. We assume we have most of the puzzle. But archaeology does not work like that. History is not a book we found intact. History is a mosaic, 1% found, 99% missing. And missing data makes the world of the past appear flatter than it was. Because every time something is found that reshapes our expectations, we adjust the timeline, not the universe. And timelines have always been fragile. In some parts of East Asia, there are earth pyramids that have been mistaken for hills for centuries. Only modern imaging revealed angles that are too consistent to be natural. In other regions, small stepped pyramids appear far outside the epicenters of known empire networks, quiet and isolated, and yet built with the same instinct to narrow with height. The world is not a single lineage, yet the world seems to reuse this shape, regardless of distance. And the thought that humans, separated by oceans and languages, arrived at a similar solution is both humbling and beautiful. Because Earth is not a single civilization. Earth is a convergence of attempts. Attempts to endure, attempts to symbolize, attempts to remember. And perhaps the pyramid is simply the most durable version of human memory, a shape that does not need perfect preservation to remain recognizable. When a tower collapses, it becomes rubble. When a pyramid erodes, it remains a pyramid. This is not myth. This is physics. So maybe the shape itself is not evidence of lost contact, but evidence of a shared condition. Humans everywhere fought gravity, and gravity only offers a few answers. As research continues, technology becomes the new tool. Laser imaging maps hidden terraces beneath forests. Ground-penetrating radar outlines buried stone foundations. Each discovery adds a quiet tile to a mosaic that may never be fully assembled. Sometimes the data confirms the obvious. Sometimes the data questions the comfortable. Sometimes the data simply says, "We do not know, yet." And this "yet" is where the documentary rests. Because the question, did it begin earlier than we think, is not a dramatic claim. It is the natural outcome of a world where evidence is temporary. Civilizations near coasts vanish with rising seas. Civilizations near rivers vanish when rivers change course. Civilizations above fault lines vanish when mountains tear themselves open. Humanity does not leave a simple trail. Humanity leaves fragments, and pyramids are fragments that endure more than most. Not because they are mystical, but because they resist erosion. For tens of thousands of years, Earth has rearranged itself again and again, and in the middle of this chaotic tectonic ballet, humans kept building, and again, they built upward. So when we sleep to documentaries like this, in the calm, slow movement of facts and uncertainty, we are not looking for a final answer. We are looking at how a planet remembers. And Earth remembers through sand, through stone, through geometry. The shape repeats itself across regions, across epochs, across cultures, not as evidence of one single origin, but as evidence of a pattern that emerges whenever humans confront the physical world. Perhaps this is the real hidden commonality. People everywhere, separated by oceans and time, faced the same constraints, and gravity nudged them toward the same solution. So when we drift at the edge of sleep and think of pyramids rising beyond deserts, beyond jungles, beyond forgotten coasts, the mystery is not whether one ancient culture taught another. The mystery is whether history will ever be complete enough to make that question easy to answer. For now, the calm answer is this: the shape exists everywhere, the reasons remain layered, and our understanding is still unfolding. Not with drama, but with patience. And when the lights go dim and the world becomes quiet, it is not unreasonable to imagine that there are still pyramids we have not yet found, still structures beneath coastal shelves, still forgotten terraces beneath volcanic ash, waiting for the slow, careful work of science to bring them into the timeline. Not to rewrite everything, just to remind us that the past is larger than the portion we have uncovered. The Earth is old, civilizations were many, stone is patient. And in the gentle silence before sleep, this is enough.